Hi, it's Lisa from Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I want to talk about control. I want to talk about control. It's a huge topic, and I wrote a journal entry this morning all about control, and I wanted to give you snippets of this journal entry and what we can learn from it, and are you doing this in your own life? So, people who are chronically ill generally experience control issues. They're controlling people, they want their life in control. That's often a chief characteristic of being chronically ill, of having chronic pain, of having chronic fatigue syndrome, of having any kind of a chronic autoimmune disease or any kind of a chronic illness. So it's always good when you do your journal entries or when you do your meditation to just put the subject control at the top. Why do I need control? Why do I need control? So I'm gonna read you this. Of course, when I write freestyle and I don't worry about grammar, punctuation, whether it makes sense, whether it's good for anyone to read. I usually delete them afterward, but I thought, I'll just share some of this. I never do this, but I will share somebody this. So basically, for me, my control issues, and one of my most stressful periods of the day where I find my symptoms and my stress increasing is my morning routine. I'm not a fan of my morning routine with my children. I love my children more than anything in the world, but they push my buttons in the morning, and it's not really them, it's me. And here's the key. Um, you know, because I have controlling tendencies, they have also learned controlling tendencies. So it's like this vicious circle. And, I think a lot of my morning routine problems and frustrations and sadness and grief and anger and stress comes from my own control issues. So I often try to journal about this. So I'm just going to talk about them a little bit here. Okay. So basically I started out, okay, I hate when my kids don't listen. I hate when everything doesn't go my way. I'm trying to force my routine in the morning, trying to get my kids to do what I want, get them dressed, brush teeth, help them. But mostly I don't want them to have their outbursts, emotional outbursts, crying, whining, anger. How come everything has to be in my schedule, my order? Why do I have to feel in control? Everybody needs their own control, to be in control of their own schedules, their own feelings, their own emotions, so that they can feel order too. How come when my kids push my buttons, it's okay for me to snap at them and give them a consequence? Or and then feel so angry that if they would only just listen and behave and do it my way, that all this chaos doesn't have to happen? How come if they are doing something and I step in and boss them around or try to show them or don't listen to them or say no with no regard to their feeling, then they might feel out of control themselves. They might express emotion in the form of crying or whining or arguing. How come when they express themselves, I come down harder on them? It pushes my buttons. It makes my anger rise. It makes my frustration rise. It makes me feel like nobody hears me. It makes me feel like I'm out of control. No wonder they feel suffocated. This is the way I feel. So very key point here. They are feeling how I am feeling. I'm feeling suffocated, and you can feel this rising as the frustration rises, like as a parent. And when you have to tell your kid something 20 times, like, please put on your boots, please put on your, by the end you're like, put on your boots, and then you feel so bad that you yelled and said put on your boots, and the kid yells back, I heard, like, I don't have to, or I already heard you, or God, you're so hard on me, right? They yell back, and then you get even more reactive to their anger. You can't talk to me like that, don't talk to me like that. As you're talking to them like that, you tell them, you can't be rude to me, right? You better go to your room, and you isolate them, and then they stomp off maybe, and they slam the door, and this makes your blood boil even more, right? So this is the kind of cycle. This is how stress rises, and this is how control at the heart of it is what's kind of, you're causing your own internal chaos. So I'm going to keep reading here. Okay. If something doesn't go my way in the morning and I can feel my buttons being pushed, then I try harder. I try harder to gain more control. I try harder to stop what they're doing, to control them more, and they resist. Of course they resist. Everybody resists being controlled. What if I made a schedule and let them know my expectations, then gave them full control over how they chose to do it with no reminders, no interruptions, no showing them how it's done, no control speak along the way? What if they knew what would happen if they got it done, something good, total control over their own free time once everything is complete my way? Or if they don't get it done, then loss of free time, loss of their free time or control. It's my time to give out chores or help around the house rather than send them to their room, rather than yell at them, or take things away, or argue in frustration, or just feel myself stressed out. It's up to me to give them control, full control, as long as they are respectful and loving and know the expectations. I should support their way of doing things, even if it's not what I would choose. I should let them make their own lunch, or pick out their own clothes, or brush their teeth, and get dressed, and pack their bags for school in whatever order they wish, even if they're running behind. That's a key point. Often I find myself saying, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you hurry up? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And it brings everyone's stress level up. And really, what if I just gave them the control and said, you know, you'll have to be ready by this time. And if you're not, you'll have some jobs when you get home from school. And if you are, you'll have your free time, right? Like, I step in because I want to alleviate the problem. I can see it disintegrating. I can see the time clicking on. I can see everything that they have not done. I can see, you know, them dilly-dallying or picking up devices when they shouldn't, or whatever it is. And instead of reacting and trying to gain control, I actually need to do the full opposite, which is let go of control completely. So I'm going to keep reading here. Okay, control is hurting me. It's hurting my kids. It's draining me. Trying to force them to act and be a certain way. Control is an illusion. It's a method of creating safety, and it's hurting my relationship with my kids. I need to let go. I need to be a model. I need to teach. I need to listen. I need to respect. I need to encourage. I need to sit with. I need to understand, and I need to realize that I will never, ever control them. They are people too. They have their own set of needs and wants, and what makes them feel safe and in control. I hate feeling out of control, not just with anxiety or pain or illness or marriage or cleanliness of the house or to-do lists or my kids or my dogs, but with everything. I try to gain control every day, every single thing, because I feel like if I'm in control of my life, maybe I will be okay. Everything will be okay. I will feel safe and protected. But maybe what I need to do is stand still in the chaos, in the swirling madness of the out of control feeling as life and kids and tasks and schedules and stress and emotions and feelings and resistance, and learn that control is just an illusion and that I am okay even now when I control nothing. I don't have to control anything to be safe and protected and okay. I just have to sit, to notice, to not resist, to not lash out, to not try to fix it, to not turn away from it, but to truly be in the moment and flow with the current raging and swirling river of my life, to be a part of the whole, and to realize that we all just want to be loved, and we can give that to ourselves every single time. So this is just part of my journal entry, and I thought I would read it because I don't normally read my journal entries, and I don't even normally keep them. But today when I was reading that, I'm like, you know, I'm not the only person out there who struggles with control. I'm not the only person who feels overwhelmed, like their body, they're always in an overwhelmed state. There's always so much pressure, internal pressure to get it right, to get it perfect, to try to control the environment, the people, and the situations around us so that we can feel in control, less out of control. We can feel safe and protected, but what it does is it stresses the people around us out. It makes them turn away from us. It causes more chaos, more stress, more fighting, more arguing, and it leaves us feeling more isolated and alone than if we would just have relinquished our control and stood in love and just let the control fall away. So I work on this every day, every morning. Every night before I go to bed, I manifest my new morning routine. Every time I'm in the morning routine, I try to see my triggers. I try to see what's happening. I try to step back from it, and I try to become a different person. And it is very hard because subconscious patterns are so ingrained, and it's almost like a language, and we get pulled back in before we realize we get pulled pulled back in to old patterns, old subconscious thoughts. They're running the show behind the scenes in our subconscious every day. And even when we have control of our conscious thinking and we're like, I shouldn't react, we sometimes react before we can consciously realize, oh man, and that's when we feel guilty. We say, oh man, I shouldn't have reacted. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have acted that way. And we start to beat ourselves up, and then we add guilt and more fuel to this fire. But truly, it's about knowing that these subconscious patterns of control play out in your life every day. You're just trying to get control so that you can survive, so that it can feel good for you, so that you can feel like everything's not slipping through, because it's very chaotic to feel like you have no control over anything. And truly you do have no control over anything. And the sooner we accept that we have no control over anything, and we just try to be loving and kind and ourselves, the true person that resides within us, and teach and model that to our children, our loved ones, in our relationships with our family members, whatever it is that triggers you every day, or you catch yourself in these subconscious patterns, just know that it's up to you to recognize and then relinquish, recognize, detach, recognize, let go of, right? It's always recognizing it and then letting go, as often as it takes for that to become the new pattern. And it's hard to break patterns, but we can. The first step is recognition. And so I hope that this video has helped you, see that control is a big one. So if this is in your life, I need you to know that control issues are one of the major contributors to chronic illness. And it's really something that you need to look at every day and ask yourself why. Why do you need the control? And then really try to allow it to go, to allow it to dissipate. And then you will find that things are easier, things are better, and everybody's happier around you. You're happier, you're more at peace, and so is everything else around you. Okay? I hope this video has helped.